Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, January 6th, around midday on Monday. It looks like it'll snow tomorrow in the I-95 corridor region from DC to Philadelphia to New York City, primarily during the PM hours, maybe starting around midday in the DC metro region, mid to late afternoon in Philly, late afternoon in New York City, continue into early tomorrow night. Low pressure should form early tomorrow over the Tennessee Valley as an upper level wave of energy intensify and moves overhead in that part of the country. That low pressure system looks like it'll move towards the coastal waters of New Jersey by early tomorrow night, and then from there off to the east and north, and another cold air outbreak will move into the mid-Atlantic region for the day on Wednesday. Much like most of the cold air outbreaks in recent days, this looks like it won't last all that long. By the weekend, we'll warm up again, probably into the 60s in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region, just in time for the next storm system that is likely to bring rain to the Mid-Atlantic region during the probably during the second half of the upcoming weekend. Well, let's focus in on the snow threat for tomorrow. Not a major storm by any means, but it could be a coating to an inch or two, maybe even isolated areas where 3 inches falls, especially on the grassy surfaces, and we'll get into the details over the next few minutes. Here's the latest look at the satellite imagery, the visible satellite imagery from the College of DuPage website. This is the area of interest, really, because this is the area where the upper level energy is located at midday on Monday. Not all that much moisture in this part of the nation, but again, this is the area of interest. Meanwhile, there's a clipper system that is pulling away now from the northeast U.S. Skies are mostly cloudy in the mid-Atlantic region, but very well could become mostly sunny over the next few hours. A stiff west to northwest wind and a chilly day, but certainly only moderately cold for this time of year. Well, let's take a look at the upper level forecast map from this morning's 12Z GFS model run. And again, the wave of energy of interest is now over the middle part of the country, right in this region right here. Over the next 12 to 24 hours or so, it will slowly head to the south and east and intensify. It's helped to spawn low pressure right over the Tennessee Valley early tomorrow. That low pressure system looks like it'll ride up to the coastal waters of New Jersey, right in this region right here, by early tomorrow night, and then continue off to the east and northeast. And a cold air outbreak will follow in its wake on Wednesday. So let's go through these. Again, this is the 12Z GFS model run, and watch this area of upper level energy right here. There goes kind of diving to the south and east, and we talked about that possibility late last week, that this upper level wave of energy might end up being a little bit farther to the south and east, as the models were predicting at the end of last week, and that would allow a little bit colder air a little bit farther to the south and east into the I-95 corridor region. Indeed, that's what's going to happen, likely mainly in the form of snow from the immediate I-95 corridor to its north and west. Let's now move forward. Here's that upper level wave of energy by tomorrow morning, and at this time, surface low should be forming over the Tennessee Valley and then head right along this wind flow pattern into the coastal waters of New Jersey by tomorrow night. Let's move ahead here. Here we go. Pretty healthy looking upper level wave of energy here, and again, that will help to spawn what will end up being a pretty decent storm system off the New Jersey coastline by about 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Again, snow is quite likely across the DC metro region into Philadelphia and New York City corridor. The temperatures will be borderline, no doubt about that. So there could be a mixture of rain and snow at times, but ultimately I think it'll change to mainly snow, if not all snow, in the major metro regions of DC, Philadelphia, New York City, and the nearby suburbs, starting maybe midday in the DC metro region, mid-afternoon Philly, maybe late afternoon New York City. Let's keep moving forward here. That ends up pulling out of the scene pretty quickly to the north and east. And then on Wednesday we have a cold air influx of air, an influx of cold air, and there very well could be some snow shower activity on Wednesday as well, with winds perhaps gusting up to 35 or 40 miles per hour or so. maybe even isolated snow squall or two we'll have to watch for, especially up across mountainous areas of central Pennsylvania, for example. But again, a blustery, cold day on Wednesday in the wake of that storm system, and then high pressure ridging eventually moves back into the eastern U.S. It stays cold on Thursday, no doubt about that. Friday, kind of a transitional day, but here we are during the morning on Friday. That southeastern ridge that we've been accustomed to over the past several weeks will kind of pop back up and will turn milder here in the eastern U.S. ahead of the next storm system that again looks like it'll bring more rain to the mid-Atlantic region, probably during the second half of the upcoming weekend. But again, the 60s are possible in some parts of the I-95 corridor during the upcoming weekend. Well, let's now walk through the surface forecast maps from the 12Z operational GFS model run. Again, a clipper has some snow falling right now across the northeastern part of the nation, that pulling off to the north and east, and nothing showing up by this evening in terms of precipitation on the model. But let's take a look here. As soon as that upper level feature continues to intensify and drops over the Tennessee Valley, you have a little bit of a reflection of a surface low late tonight, and there it is by tomorrow morning. Low pressure over the Tennessee Valley with snow on the northern end, rain on the southern end, still well to the south and west of D.C. as of early tomorrow morning, but then by midday some snow could develop in the D.C. metro region. Again, it can be a mixture of snow and rain, but ultimately should change over to mainly snow, if not completely in the form of snow, as that low slides off to the south and east. And here we go by tomorrow evening. Again, pretty good development here of this storm system by the time it reaches the coastal waters of New Jersey. Definitely stay tuned over the next 12 to 24 hours or so, because we'll have to see if there's any last minute surprises with this. But again, what looks like a pretty decent system just off the New Jersey coastline by tomorrow evening, early tomorrow evening. Snow still back into central Pennsylvania and across Philadelphia and New York City. There's a tendency for the models to have a little bit heavier precipitation south of the Mason-Dixon line. We'll see if it actually turns out that way, but that's why in general I expect coating to an inch or two along the I-95 corridor region, but there can be isolated 3-inch amounts, especially in the region from, let's say, D.C. to across the Delmarva Peninsula into interior southern New Jersey, because of the possibility of a little bit heavier precipitation in that part of the mid-Atlantic region. And because of the marginal temperatures and the fact that some of the snow will be falling during the daytime, it certainly looks like it'll stick easier on grassy surfaces as compared with the asphalt roadways. But here we go now into tomorrow evening. It kind of quickly ends in the I-95 corridor region as that storm scoots away off to the north and east. And this pressure gradient on its backside will tighten up quite a bit. And by Wednesday morning, we very well could be seeing strong winds at 30 miles per hour or so, and perhaps gusting up to 40 miles per hour or so during the day on Wednesday out of the west to northwest. Again, we're going to have to watch for snow showers. Certainly can be some snow showers streaming from the eastern Great Lakes across the mountains and the central Appalachians. Maybe even a few snow showers can make it into the I-95 corridor region during the day on Wednesday. A windy and cold day. Then let's just push ahead here. High pressure settles overhead on Thursday. Still a cold day, but much less in terms of the winds. And then we'll move ahead here, and the high pushes off the eastern seaboard. Southeastern ridge in the upper part of the atmosphere kind of re-strengthens and pumps in some milder air first into the Ohio Valley and then into the eastern U.S. by Saturday. Perhaps 60 degrees for highs on Saturday afternoon in parts of the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philly to New York City. And a big storm will develop, but for the mid-Atlantic region it looks like a rain event here, perhaps during the latter part of the weekend, Saturday night into Sunday. Could be significant snow though on the north and west side of this low pressure area, way up in interior northeastern part of the nation. It looks like primarily a rain event for the Mid-Atlantic region during the upcoming weekend. But before we get to that point, we have some snow to deal with tomorrow afternoon and evening in the I-95 corridor region from Philly to DC to New York City. Generally expecting a coating to an inch or two. Certainly stay tuned to perspectiveweather.com over the next 12 to 24 hours or so to see if there's any last minute surprises. But that's it for now. For perspectiveweather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.